9 o'clock on the dot. So, hello, we are live again. And this hour, I am drinking Mix Mojo's margarita. And it comes with kosher salt. So, hindi ko na siya nilagay sa margarita glass kasi gusto ko may yellow. And I've been sipping on it. This one's a bit too sweet for me, for my taste. So I won't na lang put this around the glass. I'll just make it papa. Ano na? Kamusta? Sino yung nag-ano na sa akin? Waiting na sa kanya. Okay, so let me tell you another story. I was driving around Ortigas, and this was like ages ago. This was like maybe, I don't know, in the 2000s. I was driving along Ortigas. Naalala ko pa yung intersection. Parang tas papuntang Galleria. And then, there was this guy driving and his windows were down. It was a blue BMW. And he was bald. Not naman bald. May very short hair. Sabi ko, who is this man? As in, muntik na ako mabangga. Sobrang gwapo. So, I've never seen a more good-looking man. And then I think weeks or months later, I saw in the magazine, I think it was Cosmopolitan, there was a picture of the same man, the exact same man, saying, "Can you tell us who this man is?" So may picture nung guy na nakita ko na naka-BMW, nagda-drive sa Ortigas. And then of course, later on, he was revealed to be Derek Ramsay. I mean, like in one of the Cosmo Bachelor bashes. So sabi ko, that's the guy I saw in Ortigas with a blue BMW. And then much later, I had a chance to work with him in ABS. So, my first head writing show, he was my host. So, diba, naging dream come true. Tapos, I did a total of 4 shows with this man, and he has proved to be such a great host, such a great actor. And you know, it's been a long time since I worked with him. But my God, I mean, like now, anything is possible, diba? So anything is possible. I can work with him again. So he is somebody that I really admire. He is somebody that I've seen grow in this industry. And he is somebody that I actually still am very good friends with to this day. And he's here. Nag-text kasi siya sa akin kanina. So, let's see if, like, how do I... Derek, I already saw you, but, like, please shoot a message so I can spot you easily. If you're here, D, can you just shoot a message? Because, ang hirap isa-isahin. Nakita ko na siya eh. Ayun, Ramsay. Derek. Wait. Can you send out a message, my dear? He calls me dear, para kaming maglola. D, I can't find you. Can you shoot a message? I just saw like my new crush, the architect I was telling you about, and he sort of rejected me tonight. So, bahala siya. Wait, where's Derek? Nakita ko na eh. Ayan, nag-hi na pala siya. So guys, I know that you've been, not guys, like ladies and gentlemen, I know that you've been waiting for him. He had a swim party tonight and I told him to be shirtless. So let's see if he has no shirt or let's see if he has clothes on. The one and only waiting for Derek Ramsay, Derek. The one and only, the hottest guy in the country. The walang kupas connecting. Ano to, mabagal na naman the signal of everyone. It's been raining kasi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh no, how are you?
Wait, can you do that again? Wait, can you go to, are you on Wi-Fi or ano?
Wi-Fi.
Can you try LTE? Can you try LTE? Ayun!
There!
Are you on LTE na?
I'm on my Wi-Fi.
Okay, I can see you perfectly.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I just moved into my new home. It was a stressful week, but everything's settled in, and it's coming along. It's looking nice. I'm already at the
I
stage
love
of
your
putting up my
door. I love the
card.
painting beside. I love your door. I love your door. Thank you
Thank
for saying
you.
yes. Thank you for saying
Of
yes.
course, I started my career practically with you.
Totoo!
You
My
were
first,
one of the,
and it's
yes.
very special
You
to
know,
me because my first handwriting show was with this guy, and he was like this gorgeous piece of man that I said, "Oh my God, yan yung host? Are you drinking
I have
tonight?"
to say, I have to say this. You know, there are a few
Oh,
people who really helped me kickstart my career because I was a shy guy. I was very nervous in the beginning when I was hosting with you, working with you. You
oh.
you noticed that in me, but you said you have potential. You just have to build more confidence, and you're one of the people that brought that confidence out in me. So, um, I thank you so much for that because it's I've come a long way, and um, it's
Sobra.
kind of
As in,
fun to
ano
go.
ka na, billionaire ka na. Billionaire ka na. Tapos lahat ng jowa mo, artista. Ang dami mong
Not true,
bahay.
but yes, I am drinking tonight. I'll have a glass of wine with you.
Oh, sige, sige. Get a glass of wine. So I was telling them earlier that my first time to see you was actually when I was in my car driving in Ortiz. Did you have a blue beamer at some point in your
Yeah,
life?
it was like
Ah, that was you!
blue,
That was you! Kasi
a
I remember, I
bluish
have a
green.
photographic memory. I have a photographic memory. I was driving along Ortigas and you drive with your windows down. Why?
Um, back then it wasn't as smoggy as it is now. So I like taking in the fresh air and just, you know, and it wasn't as traffic as it was, as it is now. Before
Oo.
you could actually just enjoy taking a drive around and keeping your
Wait,
windows
I'll shift to
down.
LTE lang. I'll shift to LTE. Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah. Oh, a lot better. See? Now
Now you can see me?
I can actually see you. Yeah.
Ah, so kanina hindi mo ako nakikita?
Kanina you were all blurry.
Am I not blurry now?
No, I can see your beautiful complexion now.
Thank you. Akala ko naman may face complexion pala. Cheers, D.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
And then, do you remember that Cosmo, like, bullet? They were looking for you. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Because not a lot of people know I've been asked to do showbiz like I think it was for 8 years before I graduated. They were asking me to
Wow.
enter showbiz, and I was like, no, 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 no.
Sobra kang hard to get, ah.
It's not for me. No, it's like I told you, I was shy. I'm like, di ko
Yeah.
kaya, yan, di ko kaya. Yan." And my mom always said, you always have to focus on school first, and so I did. And once I graduated, the offers were still there, and I said, you know what, subukan na natin. And
Teka,
here I
nag-VJ
am.
ka muna, di ba? Kasi may buhok ka pa nun eh. Nag-VJ ka, di ba?
May book. Yes. Funny
Did
enough,
you
and I
shave
have
it na?
hair now.
Did you shave it na?
Not yet, not yet,
Can I
not
see?
yet.
Can you show it? It's in your feed naman eh.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh
I
my
just
God,
don't want to
he's
draw.
going to reveal his head. The ultimate leading man. Eh, di ba ikaw yung tawag doon? The ultimate leading man. Yun yung title mo, di ba?
Ano, ang nagtawag sa akin doon, si Tony.
Si
So
Tony G.
look,
Oh my God, may buhok. Yeah, that is exactly what you look like the first time I saw you driving your blue Beamer, windows down on Ortigas Avenue. Grabe. So,
wow.
why did you finally decide to grow it out? Apart from the obvious fact that there were no barbers in around, you were not allowed. So, ngayon na pwede na, why did you decide to still have it on, like hair? Na-realize mo mas pogi ka?
Um, it's a new year. Um, it hasn't been great, but the year isn't over, so we can still turn this thing around. And I said I have a new
True.
house, so new look. You know,
Yeah.
um, I'm sure one day I'm gonna go back to the old school Derek shaved head, but right now I'm enjoying, and I
It
want to show
suits you.
everybody
It
that
suits you.
I choose to shave my head, and it's not because I'm bald.
Ang
Um,
kapal! Makapal. Your hair is
kapal,
thick.
sobra.
Oo.
Yeah, very thick. Very thick.
Ang kapal ng hair mo.
My mom
Anyway,
loves it. My mom's like,
I love it. I love
keep
it.
it
I
like
think a
that.
lot of your fans, a lot of your fans love it also, di ba? So, syempre, di ba, hosting is
Thank
one
you.
thing and acting is another, di ba? We were
Mhm.
doing the casting for Isabella. Tapos sabi ko, si Derek. Tapos sabi na, ha? Umaarte ba yon? Tapos pumayag ka. Pumayag ka mag-teleserye. Bakit ka pumayag mag-teleserye? Was that something that you wanted to try or pinilit ka lang ni your manager?
No, well, diba I was a host on Entertainment Connect. You remember that?
Oo,
And
ETK.
then we
Oo.
did
EK, oo.
our dance show. People where I don't even dance, but
I know,
yeah, we
that's
did
so
that dance show.
ironic.
But I did Panday, and the reason why I did
You
Panday was
did too. Oh,
because
I remember.
I didn't know how to fit in on the talk show. Like I didn't know anything going on in showbiz, so I, parang I didn't know what to say or comment. And one day they had a topic on Vina, and Vina was like my only friend in showbiz. So doon nagsalita na ako na parang I'm
Oo.
defending my friend. And they're like, dapat ganyan ka lagi. But wala nga akong alam. And then that's when they came to me and said, would you like to try a teleserye with Panday? And I was like, no, I can't do that. And they said, you're
True,
going to shoot
teleserye ka pala
in,
Panday. Oo nga pala Panday. That was your
yeah,
first.
Bohol. We're going to shoot now in Bohol for 2 months. Sabi ko, wow, I want to go to Bohol. So I
Yes, you
decided to
said that.
take it.
Yeah.
And then that gave me the confidence um, to acting. And Tita Malu brought me into her office and said, may potential ka.
Ang
Nakikita ko sa mata mo.
taray!
And then,
Oo.
yeah, so she's also one of the few people who really gave me confidence to do what I'm doing. And you guys approached me for Isabella, and then Judy Ann pa said, yeah, I let him to be my leading man. Parang, I was like, grabe naman, she's like this huge superstar. Tapos ako, I'm nobody, papayag siya na i-pair ako sa kanya.
Oo.
So I took it. And I enjoyed. I really enjoyed. I remember our first day in our first day
Mitos.
was
Your
inside
name was
ABS-CBN.
Mitos. I remember.
Yes, yes, Chef Mito.
Mitos. Mitos. Chef Mitos. O, may chef ka nga pala, no? Na-enjoy mo naman yon.
Super, super na-enjoy. Super na-enjoy ko yun. And that led to me working with Judian for another teleserye right after, Habang May Buhay.
Ay, true.
But then
Naalala ko
that led
yun.
to our teleserye, that's really our iconic teleserye Magkaribal. That was one of
Saka
my
yung
favorite projects.
Magkaribal, ikaw na talaga yung leading man noon. Wala nang iba. As in, pinush na talaga na parang, okay, ready na si Derek. Siya na yung pag-aagawan dito, diba? Like Gretchen and Bea Alonzo
Kay
and
Bea,
everybody else. My God, that was
yes,
such an iconic teleserye for the both of us. And my God,
super, super.
Louie, as Louie, you were at the top of your game. I think that was really the height of your stardom and success. Of course, there were a lot of things like your movie with Anne and Christine and everything, but I think that started the height of your stardom, di ba? Parang doon ka talaga naging ganap na artista. As in, ganap na ganap, di ba? What was that experience like? How did you feel working in that teleserye as Louie? The gigolo.
Everything was happening so fast, like super fast. When we did the
Hi to Von,
workshop
our PA.
for
Von is our PA
Magkaribal,
in
you,
Magkaribal. Von.
you remember that? You remember that workshop? I was like, workshop na
Yes,
ganun
yes,
where,
yes, yes.
diba? I mean, I'm sure she's cool with saying this where Gretchen's bra popped off when we were doing the scene. Because that was like the ultimate scene where I was gonna put her on the kitchen counter and then just practically like rape her. Um,
Oo.
and I was like, this is my first time. Wala naman kaming
That's
ganito
your
sa,
opening eksena. Oo.
yes, wala kaming ganito sa teleserye namin ni Judian. It was very wholesome. If there was gonna be a bed scene, it would be a kiss and then go off cam. Dito
Oo.
parang, whoa, I don't know what to do. But
Saka,
yeah, we pulled it off. We pulled it off.
yeah, I really made sure that you were, talaga, objectified in that show. Charot! Kasi di ba may butt exposure, di ba kailangan Sabi ko, kailangan yung marka ni Dos nasa puwet ha. May butt exposure yung
Oh,
teleserye natin. Grabe. Naalala mo ba yon? Pinakita yung puwet mo. Pumayag
yung,
ka
na,
naman.
yung marka ng boss.
Marka ni Dos. Pumayag ka naman. Ano sabi, anong na-feel mo nung sinabi sa'yo ni Direk Noel or Direk May na, papakita natin yung puwet mo. Nagulat talaga ako kasi ako nagulat ako, parang, oh my God, prime time. Tapos nakita ko yung puwet ni Derek Ramsay. Butt exposure. How did you feel about doing that scene?
It was tough, really. I was like, pwede ba ilabas sa TV to? But I trusted in the rec. I trusted you guys, and I'm glad I showed my butt. It led to a lot of butt exposures in my movies, and parang
Saka
gee,
Derek,
my butt like has a mind of its own. Bigla na lang yung nag-a-appear. I have scenes na hindi dapat siya mag-a-appear, and it just appeared.
but you, but you have to admit, we placed it so well in the story that hindi lang siya para lang magpakita ka ng butt. Ano siya,
Yes,
it propelled the story forward because showing your butt meant that Bea Alonzo's character recognized that you were the guy, that you were the little boy, diba? It was functional.
correct.
It wasn't just, just for the sake of showing your butt. Kasi you show naman your butt for free on Instagram, diba? Funny lang, like just the crack. But how do you feel about being the sex idol, the sex symbol of the 2010s? Ang taray 2010s, parang ano, no, ibang decade na yun. Parang it was such a long time ago. But how do you feel about being the official sex god of the 2010s, the sex symbol of the 2010s?
Sex god. Sex
Totoo
god
naman eh.
talaga. Um,
Oo, diba nag-Cosmo ka pa and everything.
yeah, I did Cosmo like 5, 6 times. It's crazy.
How do you feel about being
I don't know.
like a sex, hindi naman sex object, parang, like, paano ba? Ano ba? Sex symbol, yon, sex symbol.
I mean, it's flattering. In the beginning, I was like, "Wow, I can't believe this." But then, I'll be honest. There came a point na parang, "Teka, ito lang ba mapapakita ko?" That's why I worked hard on Tagalog and I worked hard on my acting skills, and I said I have something more to show. But you know, it kickstarted my career, and this. Ever since then, I don't work out to make myself look good. That's just a bonus. I work out so that I
Correct.
can compete in my sports, and I'm very comfortable with who I am and this body that I have. And a lot of people say it's yabang. Some people say I flaunt it too much, but I'm just comfortable with my body, and
Yeah,
I love being outdoors. So that's why I'm always topless. Um,
that's true.
and basically, kami pa ni Joji, nag-away pa kami ni Joji noon kasi si Joji, lagi kang nakababad sa araw, nakahubad ka, ganto-ganto, iitim ka. But that's actually got me to where I am, even with my
Exactly,
endorsements.
exactly.
Um,
You were such a man, like, sort of like sa leading men, ikaw yung hindi pretty boy. I'm not saying you're not pretty. Of course, you're obviously very gorgeous. But ikaw yung lalaking lalaki. That's why everybody, like every single leading lady that they put you with, di ba, parang bagay talaga. And then, of course, it came to the
thank
point
you.
na nagkaroon ka ng box office hit by the other woman with Anne and Christine. Oh my God, Derek, sobra kang nasa taas. As in, naging box office king ka. Diba? Can you believe that
Yeah,
happened to you in your career? Diba?
that
What
was
was that
20.
like working with the two like most parang coveted leading ladies in that time up to this time?
Wow, 2011 was a very good year for me. It's my favorite number also, and it's funny how everything just fell into place. And that movie, I mean, Magkaribal started it, and that really solidified it. Till this day, I get messages on Instagram, Facebook. They're watching it on Netflix. Hindi sila nagsasawang panoorin. And in 2011, I
Yes.
think Philippine cinema was in a very iffy place, diba? And that really
Oo.
put back Philippine cinema. Ang katapat pa namin doon was Transformers. And then people were calling me because we didn't have a premiere night because there was a big typhoon, if you remember, a really big typhoon. And we were all upset and worried that, ay, wala tayong premiere. How are people going to talk about this? And the next day, my phone was just going crazy. And it was like the big
Right.
thing of what was happening. Have you seen the Wonder Woman? This. And I was like, wow, what's going on? Everything's happening so. Um, and I worked with Anne. I've worked with Anne many times, and Christine. Christine is a dear friend, and we we tried it
Wait,
for
I'm
a
blurred now.
brief.
I'm blurred now. Wait, I'll pause it for a bit, ha. I'm blurred now. Let me check it
Thing.
again. Am I blurred?
Yes, you're blurry.
Wait, I'll fix it. Wait lang. 1 second.
Buddy, thanks for
How's
tuning
that?
in. Yes, so much better.
How's that?
Much better.
Is
Much
that still
better.
blurred? Blurred
No,
pa
you're
ba?
clear now. You're clear. Very clear.
Cheers. You wanna take us on a tour of your new house or private pa?
Sure. Right now I'm in my living room. I've got these funky
Sino gumawa ng door
Zaha
mo? Ang
Hadid
ganda ng door
couches.
mo. Ay, ang ganda ng ano mo, divan. Wow. Living room. Okay.
Wait, this is my den. That's my pool. I have those really cool lights outside.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then this is my den.
How much
Got
of
an
it did
elephant
you
there.
design? Ikaw ba nag-design? Did you, how involved were you in the design and everything, the construction?
I'm very hands-on. Like I didn't hire an interior designer. I like to do that myself. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I want a home that's me. And when people appreciate it, makes me feel good. I've even got offered a job to interior design somebody's
Oh
house.
my
So
God, pwede na
maybe
yun
this is
ang
a new
future
career.
mo. If you decide to retire, di ba? Pwede ka maging Scott Disick, di ba? Parang ikaw na talaga magbebenta ng mga bahay ng mga tao.
Actually, yeah, I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. This is I think my third home. So my dining, Philip Stark stilettos. I know you'll appreciate that.
Social, Philip Stark!
And my kitchen.
Ang ganda! Parang nag-party ka. Ah, may swim party ka kanina, no? You had people over?
No, 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 no. So yeah, it's 4 floors.
4 floors, wow! Grabe,
Yeah.
mansion.
So yeah, going back to what we were talking about, 2011 was a crazy year for me. It really
Yeah.
sinundan pa ng Private Benjamin, which
Oo nga, nandun ka rin!
yeah, that's why I want to know Box Office King because back to back yun yung November was No Other Woman and then during MMFF, um, Vice and I were part of the
I
success of that
remember
movie and
Private Benjamin. Oh my God, oo nga, ikaw nga pala yung
yeah,
leading
so
man
fun.
doon. And then you were on Showtime, like, maybe, like, you were on Showtime with Vice and, like, parang, oh, wow, Derek is really up there na parang wala na, hindi na yan mamamansin. But, you've always been the same guy. You've always
Thank you.
maintained who you were, like, from the start. Why are you so grounded? Why, up to now, you're still so grounded? Like, I can talk to you, I can text you, and you'll reply right away. So how do you
My
control that? Like, I mean, like, why are you such a grounded guy?
my parents, my dad always said, no matter how much success you gain in life, keep your feet on the ground. Don't forget the people who helped you. Don't forget the people who love you. Um, this success shouldn't change you. Money shouldn't change you. And yeah, like you said, I'm still the same guy, surrounded by the
Sobra.
same friends. I've acquired new friends through the years, but the core is still there. Um, I'm very close to my family. I'm very appreciative of people like you who've helped me tremendously. Um, Again, I wouldn't be where I am without the people like you who gave me that confidence to get over that hump. Because seriously, I never thought I'd be doing this. I'm a math, physics, and chemistry major.
Are you really? Are you really?
I took physics, chemistry, math A
I
levels in
love
the
physics.
UK.
Physics is my favorite subject. Oh my God, scientist ka pala. So like in another life, if you were not if you, like for example, you were not given good looks and you were just very smart, like, what do you think you would be? Like, in an alternate life, like, di ba kasi ang NASA, nakahanap sila ng parallel universe, di ba? Just recently, they published their studies. So, like, if you weren't a good-looking model actor, box office king, like, what do you think you would be? Like, having this physics, like, whatever background. So, ano magiging trabaho mo kung hindi ka artista?
You know, I actually enjoy teaching.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know.
What
Maybe
kind?
I'd be a teacher.
Ano, sex education, ganyan. Teaching what?
I don't know. I love
Cheers
history.
muna, cheers.
Cheers. I love math. I'd probably teach. A lot of my friends tell me that I'd be a very good teacher. I always like being surrounded by people. Um, I'm very, yeah, I'd be a very strict teacher, I think. Very
Talaga?
strict
But you have
teacher.
to have the patience for that. Do you think you have the patience for teaching?
Yeah, actually, I have, my patience is very long. But if sumabog
Your
ako,
patience is very
sasabog ka.
long. Talaga?
Parang,
Pasensyoso kang
no.
tao.
Oh, pero pag sumabog ako, rah!
Pag sumabog ka, wild, psychotic, ganyan. As in, like, Hulk, maghuhubad ng,
Like,
magpupunit ng shirt.
nakakatakot. No, I think I scare myself.
Talaga? Talaga? Like,
But
Derek, like,
it really takes a lot for me to get there. It
yeah,
takes a
I'm
lot
sure
for me
it's
to
gonna
get
take a
there.
lot for you to get there because, like you said, you're a very, very patient guy. But like now that we're forced into lockdown and we've been on lockdown for about 4 months now, what are the things that you would say? Am I clear to you? Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me fine?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So what are the things that you learned about yourself during this 4 month period that we're forced to be in our homes and not really, moving about? So may mga natutunan ka ba about yourself na nagulat ka? Kasi diba, we should be able to constantly surprise ourselves. So what are the things that you feel that you learned about yourself in this whole lockdown situation?
You know, I found it really tough in the beginning because
Yeah.
my family was in Tagaytay. Um, I was having anxiety attacks. And I was also very paranoid that maybe I'm sick, and I was, trying to catch my breath. And it took about nearly a week for me to calm myself down and just realize, hey, um, compose yourself. This is going to be, you know, okay one day. And
Mm-hmm.
I started having really good conversations with my parents, quality conversations with my friends and my family. I've always been close to my family, but because of our past life where we are so busy with our work, you're there physically with your family or your friends, but you're not actually really there 100% because
You're
you're
not
thinking
present.
about so many things. So may hinahabol ka pang mga ibang bagay. But
Mm-mm.
over COVID, over the lockdown, I was able to have these quality conversations that I got to know them even more, and I told myself I really want to follow the footsteps of my parents. That's how I want to live my life. And I told myself, I have to change my priorities. It's this lockdown made me realize that I have to change my priorities. And this lockdown has really I want to start a family. I want to.
Oh my God! Are you serious? Napasigaw ako.
Yeah, it's really.
Napasigaw
I
ako.
mean, it's been there. It's been there for a long time. I think I've been, you know, I, I've been. It's been in the back of my head for a long time. But over the lockdown, I'm like, I'm ready. Go. I want. Let's do this.
Seryoso
I
ka ba?
love.
Seryoso ka?
Huh?
The perennial JFK Jr., I mean, like, hard to lock down kind of bachelor guy. Are you serious? Are you screwing me right now? Are you fucking with me right now? Seryoso ba yan?
No,
Wala
I'm
ka
not.
family na?
No, I'm serious. That's where I want to go. Gee, I want to do that. That's the next chapter of my life. And I also realized that, I love my craft. I love showbiz. Um, there are things that you hate about it, but there's a lot of things that I love about it. And I guess that's what you feel with any job that you have. But I also realized that hey, there are other things that I can do. And if I want to start a family, I should start looking at other, you know, options of how I'm going to make a living or how I'm going to live my life. Because if I start a family, I know myself. I will give 100% attention to my family. And if
Yeah.
you have a showbiz career,
Yeah.
you know you can't do that. Even if you find the perfect balance,
Right.
it's tough. So for
So,
me, I have to, make some
nakakakilig naman
really,
yan. I mean, like, that's shocking to me, but it's not totally unexpected. I mean, like, syempre, if you bow out of showbiz to start a family, we're gonna miss you. All of us will miss you in the industry and your fans and your viewers and everything. But of course, we're gonna be happy for you. You've always, like, every time we had conversations, like, you've always told me how much you admire your dad. And I know
yeah,
how much you love your mom. Talagang your
yeah,
dad is your hero and your mom is your beloved and you have a
yeah,
beautiful mother and you post her all the time and you post a picture of your dad na parang he was lying on the bed and he was shirtless and it was like this is such an adorable photo and I know how much you hold your parents in such high regard, so it's not a surprise to me that you would want to have a relationship like that, diba? But I don't think it's very characteristic of you to talk about love, to talk about your relationships. I think it really changes within diba, the span of time, within years, diba? And of course, this lockdown forces you to think about the things that are really important. And I think that's your realization that you
yeah.
really want to start a family. And it's about time, diba? It's about time. And it's, I mean, like,
Yes,
since you opened it and since the topic, I told you, it's a love in the time of COVID. How
yeah.
important has love been in your life within COVID? Gaano siya ka-importante yung pagkakaroon ng isang taong mahal being in love in the time of COVID, how important has that been to you, Derek Ramsay?
I mean, like I said, guys, I found it so tough, for the first week. And if it wasn't for the love given to me by folks, by Andrea,
Ayan na! Binuksan na!
I mean, you know, baka nagkaano na ako, mental breakdown. Because ako hindi ako pwede makulong sa bahay. I
Oo
need to
nga,
do things.
sobrang
I need to go
active,
nuts.
yeah.
Diba? And I was in the process of my move. So, ang gulo ng bahay ko. Um, but the great thing was, yeah, I had quality conversations with my mom and dad. I didn't see Andrea for the entire lockdown. No one wants to believe me. You
Are
know,
you sure you didn't see her
we
kahit
followed the
ano?
rules. Yeah, we
Mabait.
followed the rules. We stayed home, but I fell in love more with her because the conversations that we had were just totoo. Boom, boom. And we talk every morning, give each other space throughout the day, and then talk again before we go to sleep. And another great thing also is not a lot of people know that my son lives with me, and it's been tough.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been tough. He moved with me 2 years ago, and it's been I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very hard, difficult experience um, for both of us. And during the lockdown, it brought us together. And now it's like we've known each other for our entire life. And
Sobrang
he
bonded na. Sobrang
we
bonded na.
I'm proud to say because, like you said, my dad and I are like best friends,
Oo.
and I'm beginning to feel that with my son, and that's great. It's an awesome feeling. We drive around the village. He rides his bike. I drive the golf cart. We do stupid things together. He's a really funny kid, uh, and I'm really proud to say that the relationship is we're tight now.
That's great. I'm
And
so happy for you. That's great. I'm so
thank
happy. I'm
you.
sure you're an excellent dad. And, parang I feel kasi the way that you father will depend on how you were fathered. And that the way you talk about your dad is clear indication that you were fathered so well. Parang kasi I feel like you're a guy that because, you just had a lot of offers. So parang it took you a long time before you finally settled on like, parang okay, this is when I want to happen na. Parang I want to have a family na ganyan. Was it
Yeah,
such a long process to get there? I mean, like, it took the lockdown for you to realize, but I'm sure there were factors leading to that. I mean, like,
gee, it's
how do
patience.
you, Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's
So how
really
do you
basic.
got to that
It's
decision na parang shit, I want a family and I want to start now. So what were the steps leading towards that decision?
well, you got to get the things that you got to love yourself. There's self love, but
Yes.
not to the point now where you're selfish. So during my younger years, get that out of the way. Get all of that stuff out of the way. Do the things that you want to do. Don't step on anybody's toes, but do the things that you want to do. And
Fly to London for a girl.
yeah, you got to take those risks. You get into a relationship,
Totoo.
it doesn't work,
Kailangan. Oo.
breaks your
Paano mo
heart,
malalaman? Oo. Paano mo
correct.
malalaman, di
You
ba?
break your heart, and you learn from it, but don't be scared to fall in love again. And that's why you're saying how important love is. It's the most important thing in the world. If we don't have
Really?
love, of course, if we don't have love anymore, this world is done. It's
What was your
done.
longest period that you were single? What was your longest period that you were single? I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to, teka, basta some beautiful actress, and she said like Maggie Wilson. She said na parang I'm the type of girl na hindi nababakante, and she meant that in the most endearing, adorable way na parang she can't live without love. Ikaw kasi parang every time I see you, hindi ka talaga nagiging single ever. So parang ikaw, how do you feel about living without love? Like what was the longest time you were single?
Probably 3 years.
Totoo? After
Yeah,
Solen?
I don't jump into a relationship because you know love is very complicated. You can't just jump into a relationship and say I love you na kaagad. It doesn't work that
Oo.
way. You can get into a relationship and say, okay, this is worth being committed to, but
Mm-mm.
you find out if you're really in love with this person. I've had relationships where they would get mad at me because I wouldn't say I love you back. And people would say I'm mean. But if I don't feel it, why should I
Why
say it?
would you say it? Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Diba?
exactly.
I don't want it to become
Yeah.
a high or a buy. Diba? When you're on the
True.
phone, call each other, love you, and you don't say it back. Diba? Parang,
Mm-mm.
oh, why aren't you saying I love you back? Nako, diba? And it's for me, those are like, those three words, that's the ultimate way to express how you feel. So don't abuse it. And even if I do feel that I'm in love, I I don't abuse those words. There's other ways to show it, but I want every time I say it for it to be special.
For
And
it to be special.
I'm 100% sure that I'm in love with Andrea. I love her dearly, and
I'm just
you know,
kidding. What? Shut up. Oh.
but it was a process to get there. I admired, of course, I was physically attracted to her. She's a beautiful woman, but it
Oh,
never
that's
came
same,
across
same.
my
Yeah, I
mind.
follow her. I think we're
Yeah,
friends on
it never
Facebook.
came across my mind na niligawan ko to.
Bakit?
But
Bakit? Parang
I fell in
leading
love
lady lang
first.
talaga.
No, because I was in a relationship. I was in a
I didn't
relationship.
know. You were in
And
a
our
relationship.
relationship was I was in a relationship where,
Oh my God, yes, you introduced her to me.
yeah, she was a wonderful girl, but it wasn't meant to be. And I fell in love with Andrea when I was hurting. I wasn't looking for anyone I didn't want, but I fell in love with her relationship with her parents.
Oh, wow.
I saw somebody who shared that same love and appreciation and respect that I have for my family. Talagang ka-level. And it's like, wow, I admire this. And that
Wow.
admiration led to
Your
me
audio
falling
though
in
is
love
not
with her.
clear. Your audio though is not clear.
That admiration that I had for her and her family led to me falling in love with her. And
Yeah.
I was like, this may be happening too fast. I know I'm gonna get a lot of slack from many people out there, but I live my life as a I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Because
IDAG. Yes, I
I
don't give
don't
a
try
fuck.
to please. I don't try to please people. If people like me, I appreciate them. If people don't like me, I appreciate, their opinion they have of me. Um, you can't please everyone. You just can't. And that never became an issue for me. I was like, hey, this is a sign. Um, she has been thrown down in front of you. Don't waste this opportunity. This could be the one. And I
I
feel
have
like she is.
never I have never seen you talk about a girl or heard you talk about a girl the same way you're talking about her, like ever, like in the span of the time that we've known each other. So what how did you feel about like meeting her for the first? Because I understand that you met in a show, diba? You were in a show together,
Yeah.
tama? So
Yeah.
what was your initial impression when you saw her? Syempre, gorgeous, sexy, everything. Apart from the physical, what was your impression of? Kasi you've had a lot of leading ladies. You've had very high profile relationships in the past that you never really talked about or never really addressed, diba? Hindi, you're not the type. You're not the type. You're a gentleman, diba? But this one, this particular relationship is something that you talk about. Like right now, diba, parang you're proud to talk about her. Like when you met her for the first time, how did you feel? And what did you think about her?
Well, like all my leading ladies.
Uminom ka, mag-sip ka muna para.
Ikaw, ha? No, like all my leading ladies. I want to be a gentleman, so I always make an effort to befriend them. If you notice that I've never had any chismes of Derek hooking up with his leading ladies because it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't.
Christine and I, that happened much later. We were really good friends before anything happened between me and Christine. But with Andrea, it was the same. I'll be honest. When I first met her, I did the same thing that I usually do with all the leading ladies that I work with. I even messaged her on Instagram and said, looking forward to working with you. Um, and before getting to the set, I asked if anyone wanted, uh, if they wanted me to bring any drinks or whatever to the set.
Uh,
And she was one of the many people that I messaged. And I got a reply, and she was very respectful. And I saw her finally, and she was just as beautiful as she was on her Instagram because I did my
yeah.
research. So I IG
Your
stalked
audio
her.
daw, your audio, your audio.
I IG stalked her, syempre. Um, no, I don't know who she was. I didn't know who she was. So I IG stalked her. And when I met her, she was just as beautiful. And ang bait talaga niya. Um, Nilapitan ko siya. I said hi, hello, and she immediately started a conversation with me. There was no dull moment, no naiilang with each other. And
Oh.
our first scene was an intimate scene together.
Oh
So it
my
was kind of weird.
God.
Yeah, they were kind of strange. So we got to know each other well there. But after, nothing really registered in my head that, wow, I'm going to make this girl my girlfriend or nothing
Uh-uh.
like that. I was in a relationship and I didn't know enough of her. Yes, physical looks, of course, she's up there, she's beautiful. Sobrang ganda niya, di ba? Pero looks are not everything. And like I said, uh, more times we'd meet and their mother was there and how she'd talk about her mother and how she'd talk about her father, her siblings. I was like, teka muna, parang ako to.
Oh my God.
And yeah. And gee, when I introduced our families together, it was so, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't
Talaga?
trying. And now, our families, when we meet, it's like kami pa ni Andrea have to separate them. So parang, okay, we na, you know. And this is the best thing. And to all the guys out there, if you have your mother's blessing, she is the one. And first time, my mom is like, walang side comment, walang duda.
Talaga? Pag quiet yung
Wait
mom,
na,
pag
alam
quiet
ko,
yung
kapag
mom, yun na
nag-away
yun.
kami ni Andrea, wala siya sa side ko. Patay ako. Patay. Like, my mom would be, kunyari, nag-usap na ba kayo ni Andrea? Hindi ko pa siya natatawagan. Ano ba yan? Ikaw talaga, ha? Bakit hindi mo tinatawag? Hindi ba kayo nag-usap? Ako, Derek, pag iniwan mo yung babae yan, ganun yan.
So may kakampi na siya, kakampi ni Andrea yung mom mo. So lagot ka na, lagot ka na.
They're very close. And you know what's beautiful about Andrea is hindi siya nakakalimot. Yung kahit walang occasion, pinapadala niya ng flowers ang mom ko. And sometimes she would
Oh,
say, this could be best foot forward, nagpapa pretty points.
yes.
Pero hindi eh. And I have very good judgment on that, you know. I really feel the sincerity of what she does for my parents, for my sisters. Um, amazing girl talaga. Talagang inaalagaan ako.
That's
Na,
very important. That's very important.
you know, gone are the days where the woman is supposed to be in the house. I don't believe in that. You know, men and women are equal. But yung, how she makes me alaga is just off the charts, G. It's like,
Talaga? Paano? Magbigay
may,
ka ng example. Paano kanya
parang may
inaalagaan?
babaeng pa bang ganito? Parang, ang swerte ko kasi parang hirap ka makahanap ng babaeng ganito. Yung pagluluto ka, pupunasan ka na parang, wow. Parang hindi na, wala akong ano, wala akong duda na dapat kami na. Dapat
So,
lang.
oo, dapat lang. Cheers! Cheers sa mga babaeng marunong mag-alaga. Cheers! Si Derek pala alagain, no? Alagain si Derek.
No, kasi she's such a busy girl and she still finds time and strength to do that. It's like amazing, you
Yes.
know. Um, it's no joke. To be a star like her, our work,
Yeah.
gee, you know, our hours are crazy. And for her
Right,
to still
right.
find strength to pagluto ako, papadala ako ng pagkain. Uuwi siya ng alas 4, may oras pa rin siya pagluto ako para alam niya na I won't miss a meal. Di ba
Oh
parang,
my God. Sobra.
ayun,
Nakakaano talaga, nakakakilig talaga yun, di ba?
yeah, I hit the jackpot there. So,
You hit the jackpot, dude. Like, I'm so happy for you, D. I mean, like, you have
super.
everything and more. I mean, like, I'm so happy for you. I've never literally hear you speak or talk about a girl this way. And, you know, I wasn't gonna ask you to preserve your new privacy, pero ikaw na talaga yung nag-volunteer ng pagka-in-love mo. So, the topic is love in the time of COVID, diba? So, how has your experience of love been in the time of COVID?
It got
Like,
me
even
over
if you're physically apart, I mean, like, how is love in the time of COVID for Derek Ramsay and his woman, Andrea?
I love being in love. I love giving love. Um, you know, if I could just share it with everybody, I would, you know. I think a lot of my IG followers also know that throughout the years, not just now, since I started in 2005, I've been that way to my fans. Wala pa yatang IG noon, I'm not sure, but you
Oo.
know, even with social media now, I try to reply, I try to spread love to everybody. Um, but without the love of Andrea and my folks, I would have had a really difficult time over COVID. You know, it got me through it. I'm you know, we're getting used to it. We all adapt. We always adapt. It's human nature. But I wouldn't have adapted as quick if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for their phone calls, if it wasn't for their love. Again, I can't stress enough that that's the most important thing in life. It's just we got to love each other. No more hate. Hate is just awful, and it's
True.
sad to see what's happening in the world now, especially in the U.S. with what's going on. Diba? Spread love na lang. Wala na yung away-away and finding the negative in everything. I wish the news would also just give out more love rather than the negativity. But
That's true.
that's the
That's
world we live in now. If it wasn't talaga for love over COVID, nabaliw na ako dito. Super.
correct. Correct. So parang ikaw, like, all of us naman kasi on some level, we felt a lot of love during COVID. I mean, like,
Hmm.
of course, we see a lot of suffering. And when there's suffering, that's really the time when, like, the human spirit really ignites, the human spirit really, you know, shines through. And of course, the greatest of all of these feelings is love. Diba? Parang this is when we are able to connect better. I think the greatest part about this being in on lockdown is we communicate better. We are, ako, I
Yes.
mean, like, I say I love you a lot more now that we're in lockdown. Kasi
Mm.
wala na mawawala sa'yo, di ba? So,
Yes.
articulate your feelings, communicate how you feel. I think it made us better communicators. But of course, like, everybody's looking forward to the day when this is finally over. I mean, like, we can't see it now, but what is the first thing that you will do once this is over? Once we finally get rid of this dreaded disease, and once, I mean, like, we wake from this nightmare, anong unang-una mong gagawin, Derek Ramsey?
Well, the first thing I did nung natanggal yung lockdown
Oh.
was pinagsama ko talaga yung dalawang pamilya. We went to
Ah,
Tagaytay. Yeah. Lahat kami sama-sama, mom, dad, ni Andrea, my parents, sama-sama kami sa lahat sa Tagaytay. It wasn't na tatakbo ko kay Andrea. See, that's why I know this relationship is so real, and you know, it's not just about me and her. So we got the families together and we spent it in our home together, all
simple
of us.
joys. Simple joys, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Parang I was telling Sarah Labati kanina, parang we take so much. I mean, like, we work so hard for things that, like, we work so hard. We work our ass off for things that we think that we
Mm.
want. And then we're put in this lockdown, and we realize that it takes very little to make us happy. It actually takes not a lot to make us happy, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Parang, of course, we like nice things. We like to see the fruits of our labor. But again, when you
Yeah.
look at, like, on a very, very simple point of view, parang hindi, it doesn't take a lot to make us happy, diba? It just needs, na parang you need to make sure that everyone is safe, like, you are surrounded by love, diba?
Yes.
But of course,
True.
Derek, like, a lot of people are not as fortunate, and a lot of people are still looking for love, diba? Parang maswerte yung mga taong meron silang love nitong time ng COVID, because they have an extra shoulder to cry on. They have somebody who they can communicate with. But what happens when you're alone in this time of COVID? What are the things that you can tell them, and what are the things that you can... Because you've experienced life being single. You said 3
Yes.
years ka
Yes.
single, diba?
Yeah.
So parang ngayon, paghahanap ka ngayon ng, like, what can you tell people who are alone in the lockdown and sort of have to battle these things on their own? Because you said that you had anxiety and you didn't know what's going to happen. But for your friends and your fans and your followers that are going through sort of like this rough time alone, what can be something that you can tell them?
Oh, like you said, I'm blessed because I have my family there who supports me and who loves me. Um, for those, I know it's really tough.
Yeah.
And with what I'm going to say, it may sound like, wow, ganun lang kakadali. It's not. I know it's not. But you have the man upstairs, Jesus Christ, our God. He loves us
Amen.
dearly, right? And you should feel his love. And that, to the question that I didn't get to answer fully earlier that you asked me, that's what I realized about myself. And I have to prioritize him.
Yes.
And I felt that. I felt that over um, the entire lockdown. And when you're alone, be patient. The man upstairs is planning something great for you.
Amen.
And the more patient you are, when that day comes, it feels so much better. Trust
Yeah.
me. If every day life is so easy, life would be boring. But when your life is tough, and then suddenly everything turns around, it just feels so much better. Diba? So you got to experience those lows. You really do. A person who never goes down here will never really appreciate what it feels like to be up there. So, guys, if you're down here, just wait because one day you're going to be up here.
Wow.
Believe that. Believe that.
Wow.
It will
Wow.
happen. And when that day comes, it's a feeling that you really can't explain. I've been down here many times. My life's been a roller coaster. But when I'm down here, all I say is, hey, I can't get any lower. I know it's going to go back up. And I'm going to look forward to that day. I'm going to have a drink and say, hey, I got through that. That's a lesson. I'm never going to make those mistakes again. And while I'm up here, I'm going to enjoy it. But I know, and I'm going to have my guard up because life is going to bring me back down here and back up here. And that's what's exciting about life. Life's supposed to be like that. It's like a roller coaster. It's supposed to be up and down. It can't be smooth sailing all the time. It can't. And and people think that money can no, money is actually the biggest thing that can bring you down. All right. Again, like you said, it's you work hard. It's nice to get those, the things that we like in life, beautiful things, nice things. And that's why during the entire lockdown, I had like this thing where I don't know if you heard about this, Gina. I was sitting there in my house and I decided to get onto Facebook. Um, First time in my 43
Kaya
years.
nga, di ba, binessage pa kita, sabi ko, is this you?
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
believe it that
exactly.
you were on
Because you,
Facebook. Sabi ko,
kilala mo kasi
joiner mo
ako.
ako. Ito, sabi mo,
Yeah, kilala mo
yes,
kasi
that's
ako. So I was like, okay, for me, Facebook is the devil. Ayoko. But I joined Facebook kasi nga I was having this mental breakdown. Ano
oh.
ipapost ko? How long is this COVID gonna last? These cars? I don't need these cars anymore. So I posted, I'm selling my cars. And I got so much feedback na wala ka namang pera or, funny stuff na eh, diba? Like, this was during the time of, unfortunately, with what was happening with ABS-CBN.
Yeah.
And they're like, kakasara lang ng network mo, ah, binebenta mo na yung mga sasakyan mo. So, it's nice that, they
You're much more
still
real on
associate.
Facebook. I just want to say that I'm not saying you're not real on Instagram. Ah. I'm just saying that you're more real on Facebook. Like when I read your posts and like, 'di ba, parang I see Derek is this guy on Facebook. He's a real guy on Facebook. I mean, like he's a friend. Like he's the guy that I know that's not an actor and stuff like that. It's so
Thank you.
refreshing to have you on Facebook because like Instagram is so ideal. Syempre, you want people to see your ideal life on Instagram, but on Facebook, I think that you're so refreshing that when you are on my feed, it's just a real experience. I mean, like it's honest, emotional. Like you get angry, like with that Spanish guy in Dasma and everything.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Yeah.
nararamdaman ko na totoong tao ka. I'm not saying that you're not totoo on Instagram. I'm just saying that you're more authentic on Facebook, and I appreciate that. And I just
Thank you.
feel like in this whole time, I mean, like in the span of, can you believe it's already been an hour? Like in our whole conversation, my God, I'm so happy that you allowed us to see a piece of your house, a piece of your home, and you've allowed us to see a piece of, not the piece of your heart, like a big part of your heart. I mean, like I've never seen you talk about like love this way, and I was really, really very, parang ayokong i-expose kasi I know that you're very private about love. But now when you're a man in love, you really shot it from the mountaintops, and I'm so happy that you found her. I've yet to meet her. She added me on Facebook a while back. Like, I don't know if that's her real account, but she added me, and I'm like, okay, this is the girl of Derek, diba? And I asked Georgie about, oh, may bagong girlfriend si D. Tapos sabi niya, yeah, she's a great girl. And I think I saw you from afar in like one of the galas that I attended. But I'm very happy that you have come to a point in love that you are ready to take the next step. I never thought it would happen, but I'm so happy
Hey,
that it
diba,
finally.
G, it's a
Oh,
process. There are
it's a
times when you
process.
think,
Tama, tama,
yeah,
tama. Pero I'm glad
and
that
it's a
you
it's a
finally
process that you can't perfect it. You really
can't
can't.
perfect it. You have to
It's
experience it.
yeah, love is both good stress and bad stress. Uh,
Sobra kang
diba?
blooming.
What?
Mas gwapo ka ngayon. Kaya ka pala may buhok. Kasi sobra kang ilap.
Diba?
Wala nang mapagtubuan yung love. Tumubo na siya sa ulo mo. Wala ka nang magawa. Diba? Derek Ramsay, hindi ko alam na ganyan ang mangyayari sa'yo. Na malapit ka pa na palang maging pamilyado. So I feel like, are you going to invite me to your wedding?
Of course, of
Kaya
course.
magantay tayo ha. Kasi syempre ngayon 10 lang ang pwede, diba? Take your time
It
and
will be
enjoy.
it will be very it will be very intimate. That's what I want.
Okay, that's
Again, like what you
beautiful.
said, talking about being real. That's how I am, and that's why I think I get a lot of haters because I'm not scared to show that I'm in love. I'm not afraid of making mistakes. I'm not afraid of getting angry. Um, and my friends and my family know that that's who I am. I'm very emotional. If I'm angry, I show
Yes.
you.
You
If
are
I
you
love you,
are a very real guy. I mean, a real genuine guy. And 1 minute remaining. I don't want us to be cut. So I just want to thank you for talking to me, for talking to us tonight. And I want to say that I'm very happy for you and that you made everyone's night tonight by showing us that love in the time of COVID is indeed possible. Salamat. Love
See
you,
you soon.
bye!
Love you
See you
too.
soon!
I'll invite you for dinner, okay?
Okay, promise, magluto ka.